Hey, we are live. Welcome to everyone tuning in live, or I guess right now, because there people are tuning in. We just started. Um, when you watch this playback, my name is Miriam Dorset. I'm the manager for Product Hunt South Florida, and I'm here today with Adam French. We're back. Hey,
We're
Adam, how
back.
are you? Yeah, we're back.
Part two. It's good to be speaking with you and holding space with you. I'm doing really well. I definitely can't complain. Lots of amazing people have come across my path recently, you included. So it's just a blessing.
No, for sure. I really appreciated you chatting with me last time. We got a lot of good feedback about the live stream. And since then, it's just been great getting to know you. I appreciate you inviting me to your meditation group. That's really cool that
Yep.
you're doing that, and I love it. I'm excited to just continue on with that. Meet more of your friends and
Yeah.
your people. But I know we only have like 30 minutes or so, because then
That's cool.
our Markus is going to pop in. And we wanted to have this live stream because you just released a new comprehensive framework on how you're kind of moving through projects with clients. And I said, well, let's get you on for a live stream. Let's talk about this.
Mhm.
So unless you have any other updates, I would love to dive into that.
Yeah. Let's dive in. I guess I'll just kind of set some context before I share my screen and show the framework. So this is pretty much an agglomeration or conglomeration, an aggregation of all of the things that I've learned working with clients. So I work at I started a company that designs brands and business models for social innovators a year and a half ago, and learned a lot since I started that. And even before that, I was doing startup stuff. And basically, I got sick of every project being a custom project. So if there are any service-based, companies out there that are stuck in the custom project loop, definitely feel free to hit me up, and I can kind of share how I went through that process. But really, a little insight on the process of how I created this framework. I believe I started with designing my perfect customer, and that was a seed stage social entrepreneur, 0 to 3 years of doing it. They want to create impact in the education, mental health, or natural living spaces. Natural living is kind of a weird way to put it. I like saying it, bringing humans closer to nature is the better, more fun way to say it. So kind of designed my customer, and basically what I did was, what do they do? What problems are they trying to solve? At what size is their company? What what impact are they trying to create? What size is their company, and what problems are they trying to solve within their company? And from there, I was just like, okay, well, most of these people are trying to get funding. They're trying to clarify their impact. They're trying to gain focus and clarity on the next thing they're supposed to do. That's kind of the thing that surfaced for me. So yeah, if you want to kind of go through this process, it's like it starts with one potential starting point, I will say, is designing your perfect customer. Well, how much do they pay? How much money do they have to pay? What are they involved in? So that was the first step. And then the second step was like, okay, this is the person, this is where they're at. And it was really organic from that point. I was like, okay, what's one thing, one process that I can take people through? And it just kept growing and growing because I had material there already that I kind of would like templates to work through stuff like brand strategy and messaging. It was kind of scattered all over the place. So I was like, all right, let's bring it all together. and bringing it all together and then putting into a framework that is used weekly on a week-by-week basis. And I work through when I like working with people directly. That's the only way I kind of go through this. I want to be more flexible with it. I want to do like a DIY version. But again, I just kind of made this, so I don't want to do, I mean, I guess I could do DIY, but I want to get reps on it and really refine it and be able to make some videos to get people to walk people through if I'm going to do DIY. So yeah, that's just some context before I dive in.
Yeah, and I love how you're so open to sharing while you're building and growing, because so much about, I feel like entrepreneurs these days are like always like, oh, like I'm such a badass and I know everything. This whole fake it till you make it. I wrote this blog post where I just ripped into that whole mindset and concept and was just like, stop faking it. Like, faking it till you make it, because it's ridiculous and super destructive to yourself and the ecosystem, in my opinion. So props to you for being brave and stepping out and sharing with us, because that's just going to help us all grow.
No, that's a great point. I think fake it till you make it is really, I think the idea is there. I think the wording is bad. It's not faking it till you make it. It's be it. For me, it's be it until you make it. So it goes into like, okay, well, who's the person I want to become? What actions, what behaviors do they do? Just do those action behaviors of the person, of the perfect version of yourself. You're being your best self, so you're going to make it. That's just how it works, right? If you tell the universe, I want to be this, and then act in that direction, it's not going to do anything but come to you, because it's like, math or whatever, or physics. I don't know. It's a law. Yeah.
I went to this amazing workshop here. No, not workshop. It's like a community gathering yesterday with an organization called Miami Made. Shout out to them. It's a group of founders, and we had a presenter, Kevin Walton, came and chatted with us, which was cool. And he talked about this concept where I'm familiar with mirror work and like looking at yourself in the mirror and like telling yourself and all that stuff. But he was like taking it a step further. He was like, go for a walk, like walk through a door, imagining yourself as that person that you are in the future, and then walk down the street, and all of that. So
powerful. It's powerful stuff.
But we're getting a little off track.
Yeah. So
I want the guided tour.
So the last thing I'll say about that to everyone listening, if you want to learn more about visualization and bringing the perfect version of yourself into your current reality, Becoming Supernatural by Joe Dispenza. I might have mentioned that last time I was here, but that book is incredible. So that's the last thing I'll say before. So I'll share my screen, and we will do allow.
Perfect.
Okay.
I'm very excited for you to share your screen, and we will walk through your framework.
Okay. Oh, okay. 1 second. So the screen sharing on Firefox.
Oh yeah, that is not a thing. My bad. Do you want to join from Chrome?
Yeah. So the difficult thing about that is that Chrome is like had a breakdown on my computer. So let's see here. The browser can't access your screen.
It is true. StreamYard works screen sharing.
Your Firefox can't.
Chrome. No, only Chrome.
I'm
so sorry I didn't tell you that.
Okay, well,
that's on me.
That's okay. Let's improvise here, and I'm gonna copy this link, and I'm gonna share it with you.
Perfect.
And then you can share your screen, and I'll just kind of Should I text it? How should I send this link?
Yeah, you can send it in the chat through StreamYard, and
Okay.
that should work
Okay.
beautifully.
So yeah. So see if you
Got
can
it?
share that link, and then I'll just kind of walk you through it. I guess there's not too much moving around. It's going to be necessary, so I think this will work.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm fairly good at driving.
Cool.
Here we go. Screen sharing beginning. Client impact portal. Oops.
All right. Perfect.
There we go.
All right. So yes, this is the client impact portal. This is the client is, ignore the client part. This is the impact portal. Basically, this is just the space where I work with my clients. And if you want to scroll down there to actions and weekly reflection and click down that toggle on week 1. Boom. So the whole thing is it's structured around this really simple element, which is just actions and weekly reflection. And it's like,
important.
well, yeah, it's like, well, I don't know, you're charging people for giving them a space to reflect. Like, that's basic. Can't you do more? And I am doing more. We'll see when we scroll down, but like, this is really the center of it. This is the anchor piece, because as an entrepreneur, especially as a social entrepreneur, there's so many things that you could be doing. A lot of times it's hard to look at a week and say, what are the 3 to 5 things that I really need to get done? And just setting 3 to 5 priorities and saying, if I get these done, everything else be damned, it's a good week. So that's really the goal of this, is to get you to do the right actions, and then reflect and hold you accountable each week. So you can say, okay, what did I commit to? What did I end up doing? Why didn't I get this done? It might be a life thing. It might be a productivity thing. But either way, it's good to have that space for reflection, and just capturing insights. You learn something every week. So capturing those insights and putting them on paper is valuable. It's even better if you hand write it, and then type it in here, because then it gets encoded into your brain. With anything you learn, if you handwrite it, it gets in your neural network deeper. So you're able to move forward with that lesson kind of embedded in your brain. So if you want to scroll down, we can dig into the meat. So basically what I attempted to do with this overall framework is to create a single space for all of the kind of information that you have to manage about your business. So there are a lot of different elements of a social impact startup that you want to be knowledgeable of. Vision is one of them, brand strategy, your strategy dashboard, where it has your current focus areas and KPIs, your products and services. What are you offering people? Who are your customers and stakeholders? What's your actual business model? Who are potential competitors or collaborators? I still want to improve that part, because I feel like with social impact, it's more collaboration than competition. And I think, if you're, I think the abundance economy is really coming to manifest, where this isn't a zero-sum game, at all. All we have as humans is other humans, so let's build economic systems around that concept. Anyways, that's a tangent. So we're not going to dive too deep into that, like we did last time. Last time I feel like it was all tangents, and that was great, but we could stay a little more focused here, because we only have 30 minutes. So these are really what I see as foundational elements to your business. If you don't have a vision, it's going to be a lot harder to make any other type of decision. If you don't have a brand strategy or strategic focus areas, making decisions is going to be really freaking hard. And your strategic focus areas don't necessarily have to be like performance marketing type, I'm going to get X amount of sales. this year, or I'm going to get X amount of, a strategic focus area could be like, come up with a product that gets some sort of revenue. Like that, it doesn't have to be like super smart goals, because startups are messy, so if you want to, what part, I guess, Miriam, what part do you want to kind of dive into? We can scroll down and look at some other stuff, but what part do you want to dive into and just look at? Because these are all like templates of how to figure this stuff out for your business. So,
well, I think that idea prioritization is probably something that I would love to focus on as an artist. I have a ton of ideas. I mean, like, you should see my freaking like notes. It's insane. I'm like, really right now? Like, calm down, girl.
What do I do with all these ideas? All right, yeah, let's bounce it. Go ahead and click into idea prioritization, and we can chat about that. So this is kind of meant to be agnostic of the other stuff that's happening. It's like this is kind of just a process you can go through when you want to prioritize ideas. So basically, there's different parts of an idea that goes into prioritizing it. Starts with the title, just something catchy to remember it by. It could be a product feature, it could be a product idea, kind of whatever ideas you have that are relevant to your business. Oh, you don't have edit access. We could have actually gone through this. All right, that's okay. We don't have to worry too much about the details. So, your ideal title, and then just a quick description. Like that field is like, okay, take 2 to 5 minutes to just describe what this idea is. Idea type, you can use that or you don't have to use it. I provide all the OCD space that is that you could desire, but I would probably not worry too much about that in this context. The idea type could be something like a marketing idea, a product idea, an art idea, whatever kind of categories that are relevant to your business. And then next is where we start kind of getting into it. You kind of have the title, the description, and then you have the feasibility description. So this is when you take 2 to 5 minutes to think about this idea. How do I implement the MVP of this idea? How easy will it be? How feasible will it be? Do I have to develop an entirely new technology with the help of 5 PhDs? Or can I do this with duct tape and a coat hanger? That type of, okay, what's the feasibility? What's the lowest fidelity that we can implement this? And then you rate the feasibility based on the description. You're like, okay, 1 being, I can speak this into existence by calling someone, and 10 being, I have to hire a team and work for 6 months on it. 1 to 10, what is it, right? And then impact description is like, what will this do for you? And what, in this context of the impact portal, what will this do for your business, or what will it do for your impact on the world? So like if it's a new product, you could say as an impact description, this new product will connect with a new but synergistic audience, and will increase upsell, upselling, upsell percentage. And that's a hypothesis, which we can talk about a little bit later. Like, this product idea will increase the upsell. It's a hypothesis that you can test. So that's the impact description. How much impact will this have? How will it help me? And then you can rate that, 10 being, this will transform my business, and make me, help me reach my vision. 1 being, it's a check off the list, but it's not really, it's incremental. It's really small, probably unnoticeable. If it's a 1, and then 10 is transformational, going to change your world and everyone else's world. And then literally the score, it's just feasibility plus impact. So if you have a set of 10 ideas and you go through this exercise, one thing I do with clients is, like, during the strategy phase, we generate a lot of execution items, and we put them all in this table. And then everything above a 15, we move forward with. Everything below a 15, we say, okay, that's not impactful. That's not as feasible. we'll put it on the back burner. So it's really, it's really simple. We're not doing calculus here.
Yeah.
Actually, shout out to school. I'm not in school because I have to take pre-calculus. And I just don't want to. So that's how simple this is. I'd
So
rather do business math.
I've got a question, because one of the things that I've started to do with my ideas is
Mhm.
before and we can pop back into that, the portals, we want to finish it up, but
Sure.
before I even start implementing, and I love this scoring system, that's a really good idea. I should be doing that for sure. But then I also try to think through, like, okay, so I create this product, it's going to have a positive impact, but then one step further, like, what problems could it potentially create?
Mm, that's a
You know,
great,
like, let's say I want to
yeah,
develop
that's a
this
great way to
dope
look at it.
app. Like, I don't. I'm so over apps, but a lot of people want to do
Mhm.
apps these days. And
Still.
then it's like, okay, you want to have a positive impact on the world. And apps, the longer people stay in them, like, it's kind of really not that good, right? I mean, and I'm guilty. Like, I'm
Hmm.
highly addicted to my phones. I have 3 phones. They're like around me at all times. And it's disgusting how many
Wow.
apps I'm in all the time. And now Clubhouse, it's like wild. So, but thinking about, okay, if I create this product, for example, like, let's even say, okay, I want to create a product, and then you get it developed in, build it, and then you get it created in China, and then you're shipping it over here to the United States, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're creating problems with the ocean, and you're contributing to the climate crisis, and
Hmm.
all of that. So taking it like one step further, do we do that at some point with the portal, or what do you think about that?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I am in full agreement. You need to think about potential negative impacts always, and not just what can we do to help. Because when you look at the potential negative impact, you're also checking your subjectivity on what impact is. And then what potential negative impact, if this was taken to its extreme, is a really good question to ask, and a really hard question to ask. There's this nonprofit founder, and she was trying to elevate immigrant artists. And I was like, one negative impact of this platform is that you're exploiting immigrant artists for cheap art, to keep your platform alive. That's a positive, like, possible thing that could happen if you don't watch it. So
Mm-hmm.
totally aligns with that. And if you jump into the products and services section, we can actually kind of look at where that fits into the process. So this is idea prioritization. So it's just like kind of purely for prioritizing. If you go to products and services, I think it's like 3 pages up from there. Yeah, if you go to products and services, um, this kind of tracks the life cycle of offerings for a business. So if you go to, can you see the templates in this view? I think I can change permissions on the fly, but if you scroll to the right, I want to see if you can access,
Yeah, I'm trying to scroll to the
like,
right. For
um,
some reason, it's not letting me scroll to the right.
okay. Let's see.
There we go.
So we're
Just do a
gonna,
little zoom out.
yeah.
And
Well,
we
so what
will
I'm just gonna do,
say,
what I'll do is I'll just send you a link to the template that I use, because that's kind of where the where it is in the process. So I'll send you a link to the, like,
okay.
product and service template, and then you can share that. We're making this work.
Yes, we
Okay,
are.
click into this. Okay. Um, so copy that link. And then I'm going to send this link to you in the chat, and you can click from there. Hopefully you can access that. Yeah, you should be able to access it.
Cool. Just my super fast
Awesome.
internet doing its thing.
Okay, so yeah, I think this is the template here for a new product or service, just the thought process to go through. So you can see you have the impact and feasibility numbers in that template: status, priority, impact, and feasibility. So you kind of go through that, and if you scroll down, then there's a bunch of other stuff. But I wanted to.
Some of these populate from other fields that you've completed in the portal.
Yeah. So they connect to other databases. So there's like a questions database, there's an assumptions database. That's part of the reason I put this together, is like so you can see your business model as a living entity where everything ties together. So you have problem solve, whose problem it is, what current alternatives they have, what value propositions your service has, eco-social benefits and KPIs, positive impact, and then the eco-social cost is just a fancy way of saying how could this harm the world. Again, like you want to see, like in the worst case scenario, you have to ask the painful version of this question, or it's like not even like a lot of corporations are doing like diversity and inclusion and social impact, but they're just lip servicing it. They're putting a blurb on their website about Black Lives Matter, but it's like, are you investing in Black communities, and are you thinking about the negative impact your thing might be having on their communities? They're like, no, so you want to make sure you kind of take a step beyond what could possibly go wrong and say, in the worst case scenario, what is this doing to fuck up the world? And really, really be honest and brutal with yourself there.
Yeah.
Because it's better to do that up front than find out it's actually happening once you roll the thing out and have to deal with that karma and switching up stuff. So since we're here, any questions about any kind of steps? I mean, there's a lot of stuff here.
Well,
I tried to put everything into this.
Right. So how long does it take a founder to like complete this? I mean, obviously you have the week to week, but like the meat part of it.
Yeah. So the way I move through this with people, we really don't follow a linear path. We're always filling out different stuff. Maybe they need to sketch out a product or service idea. That's what we do that week. Maybe they need to figure out their brand strategy. Maybe it's strategic focus areas, KPIs. I mean, there's like, to fill all of that out, to fill out just the foundation part. If you're doing like, let's say one of those pages per week, it would probably take, I mean, what are there, like 10 to 12 pages in the foundation. So 12 weeks is kind of the program that's like the base program that I take clients through. Because 12 weeks is kind of like, okay, you get comfortable in Notion, you get comfortable with this action, reflection, accountability thing. You understand what tools are there for you to use. So long way of saying it depends, but 12 weeks is kind of the starting block that gets you like sprinting. So after 12 weeks, you'll understand how to use this moving forward, because it's meant to be a living document. It's not something you create and leave. It's something that's meant for you to reflect with. It's basically your living business model and your living business plan in this document. So as a founder, you can see and reflect on that when thinking about what you need to do, because it has key activities, right? It has key activities and operations. So, so long.
Well, I love it. I mean, and congratulations to you for putting this together. I can tell that it's truly a brain dump of your process, and now it's ready and available for people to use and share. So Congrats on
Yeah,
releasing it. And thank you for giving us a kind
thank
of like
you.
a little exclusive peek. I'm going to welcome Markus in because he's just joined us. And you can meet Markus.
Awesome.
Hey, Markus.
Hey, Mary. Hey, Adam.
Have you been
What's
able to
going on,
hear
Markus?
what we're talking about this whole time?
I have. Yeah, it was super interesting for me as well to kind of listen in. So I was happy I got to join for that whole thing.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in a little early.
It's, of course, especially you guys were talking about how sometimes it can be a little bit of a paradox creating an app today and what that kind of means in the world and how you can position that in a good way. And that's something that we like work with all the time, right? With Friendspire. So I thought that was really interesting to hear that.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing an app yourself, and it is a content app, which is a part of why we're consuming so much content these days. And what I like about Friendspire, because it's kind of like this is a reality, and like I watch everything myself. I've got every app there could possibly be. I'm a early adopter, but it's like at least with this stuff, with the content in Friendspire, you're helping to support like real connections with people because then you're getting recommendations from them. You can further those conversations outside of the app. So I'm excited to talk a little bit about what you're working on. Would you have any questions for Adam while we have him? I don't know if Adam, you're going to stick around.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I thought that was really interesting. I think so. One of the things I found most interesting to see was the idea prioritization and how you kind of do that. We actually follow kind of a similar method when we need to make our sprints for development and try to prioritize based on how much effort is it going to take and how much impact we think it's going to have. And sometimes the picture you get after you do that is just so different from what you thought going in because you just can't grasp it all at once going in. But I think one of the biggest challenges in doing that is that I always kind of want to do that in a room with people, get a bunch of stickies out, maybe after a few hours get some beers out and do it that way. But that just hasn't been possible over the last year or so with everyone being remote, or at least some of our team is not in Miami now because we're all in quarantine and so on. So I'm interested in hearing, do you do this remote as well? And are there like specific tools that you found that can help in doing an exercise like that, which is normally a very board-based sticky type exercise remotely?
Yeah. So in terms of the idea prioritization, with a group, I mean, with one person, if it's one-on-one, I found Notion is pretty easy to use. We keep it in spreadsheet format. But if we're doing it with a group and we want to aggregate multiple people's ideas, then Mural has been like an absolute lifesaver for me. It's a digital whiteboard.
Oh, cool.
And it's basically all that sticky note stuff. If you search up Mural Consultants Network, you can sign up for their Consultants Network, just prove that you're a business essentially, and you get like an upgraded version of the tool for free. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, so check out Mural Consultants Network, and that's an amazing tool. I don't use it as much. I usually use Notion, but Mural is incredible.
Okay, cool. I'll check that out. That's a great tip.
So Markus,
yes,
live on Product Hunt today. Congratulations!
Yay! Thank you.
Yay!
Yeah, it's been fun. Yeah, and thank you for hunting us, and also that also means that you got up at 2:45 or whenever to do that and then get us live. So I mean that's no small feat. So thank you so much. That's awesome.
No, yeah, for sure. My pleasure to support another Miami, South Florida-based founder. Why don't you share a little bit about yourself with the viewers and those that are going to be watching back, and those that are tuning in? Please comment in and say hello. We want to know who you are. We only get a little number that people are watching, well, we want to know who's there. Say hello.
Absolutely. So I'll talk quickly about myself, and then I'll jump on to Friendspire, which is obviously kind of what's interesting, right? So I grew up in Denmark, and my dad is Danish, my mom is American. So if you guys can sense like a slight accent, I hope there's not too much. Then it's because of the Danish sneaking in there. I grew up there, and then I have a business background from Copenhagen Business School. I then joined a pharma company, actually also talking about doing good. I think it was one of the good ones, but they don't always kind of get viewed that way. I was there for quite a while, and I worked in many different departments, including like project management, corporate development, business development, strategy, and finance. And then after a while living in Princeton doing that, I just kind of decided I needed to do something different. That sounds like that was a 1-2 decision. It was not. That took a while to kind of make such a big change, and I'll get back to that. But on the private front, that then meant that myself and my wife Bia moved down here to Miami, and we now live here with my little baby daughter Isabel, who is 11 months.
Yay.
Yeah, it's awesome to be here. Yeah, my mom's actually, so she grew up in Miami, so I always came and visited as a kid, and my family lives here, my American family. So it's really cool to be back. It's something that I always have wanted to kind of move down here and live here.
Well, we're glad to have you. You're clearly have a lot of experience, and now you've launched on Product Hunt. So I'm thrilled that you would come on during the middle of your launch to kind of talk a little bit about what you did to prepare, tips and tricks, how you feel it's going. We're going to dive into all of that. Very, very valuable information for everyone who's building out there and is going to launch on Product Hunt. I can say, Markus, you were like the most prepared founder I've ever hunted with your document.
I'm happy
made
to
it
hear
so
that.
easy. All at 3 a.m, I was just like, there's no way I can fuck this up. Like, copy
Oh,
and
that's
paste,
great.
copy and paste. So
Thank you.
Are you happy with how the launch is going? It's 3:38 West Coast time, so you still have a good amount of the day. You're at 149 upvotes from the community, and the last I checked on the homepage, you were looked like you were ranking. You're on the homepage.
Yeah.
You're not in the top 5 necessarily.
No.
Looks like, okay, the other ones are in the 400s, and we've got a 500 today, but you still have a good chance of being featured. It's not just about the upvotes, and you are in the popular section, I saw as well.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
How are you feeling about your launch?
So I'm feeling good. Like I just think that a day like today, I get so much energy from doing that because no matter what, there's so many new people that are writing. There's so many new people that are asking questions that you engage with, and there are also quite a few new people that come on to the platform. And on most days, those people are numbers, right? So it's like, oh, we had 800 people join today, but on a day like today, those people actually become faces and names and people you can talk to. So on that front, it's just like enormously energizing for me, and so I really like that. I mean, to me, Friendspire is the most genius thing that has ever existed. So to me, I would expect 8,000 upvotes at this point. So am I totally where I maybe was hoping? Potentially not. But I'm super happy with all the feedback that we've gotten. I'm super happy with all the new people we've reached out to, and I feel like we're in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, I would call this a successful launch for sure. There's tons of comments popping up here. You had even a comment from, where is it? I saw it earlier, from the community leader at Product Hunt. Well, I can't read it now, of course. But they popped in. And
that's good. That's because there's many.
Yeah, Leandro popped in and said, hey, what's up? Noticed you got hunted twice, right? So what was that about? Someone hunted you. Let's talk a little bit about that. Someone hunted you.
For sure, yeah. So when I actually went to start preparing, one of the things I did was kind of like test out, so how do you actually add something to Product Hunt? And then it was like, oh, I can see that your product has already been hunted. And that was literally when I found out that we had already been hunted, because I had no idea. So it happened. It happened when we were really, really early, when we were kind of with like a live beta, a live MVP, so to say. So I mean, I didn't even know, and it didn't, really do anything, and it wasn't a great product. So yeah, I had no idea. But then if you kind of speak to what you've changed on the product, then you can relaunch, and I think that makes a lot of sense, because especially in the startup world, products don't look like you think they're going to look, or you think they're going to be, when you start kind of that adventure, right? And for us specifically, just to take a step back, and Friendspire is all about helping people get recommendations, right? So there's just so many decisions people have to make every day to find something good to watch, read, eat, listen to, that it's almost made decision making impossible, right? And that's what we're trying to facilitate. I always like to kind of take the example of getting a movie, where if you go back 40 years, then you just turn on the TV and you'd watch that movie, right? And that was literally the movie that you could watch. So it was on the TV. Then you go back like 20 years, and it's very nostalgic to think about going down to Blockbuster and selecting 5 movies, and then no matter how bad those movies were, you would like watch them, because you were locked in, you paid for those specific movies, and you were like stuck on them, right?
Yeah.
But today it's like the first decision isn't even like, what do you want to watch? It's like, what streaming service are you going to look in? And we all kind of know that feeling of then ending in the endless scroll, and instead of watching anything, we're just scrolling. So what we really want to bring to people is the ability to make easier choices, to find better content, and in doing that, they can enjoy better real experiences, right? And not to go too much out on a tangent here, but that goes a little bit back to what we were saying about the social impact of apps. And we're very aware of the fact that it's like a paradox that we want you to spend less time on your phone and spend more time on real experiences, being an app, and especially being an app that is probably classified as social media. But that's really what we want to do, because we want to help facilitate taking that decision of finding a movie, a restaurant, a podcast, or whatever it is, making it so much easier that you can actually enjoy the thing alone or with whoever it is, instead of just sitting on your phone browsing, or sitting on Netflix and browsing, right? So that's really where we see it positioned. Back to kind of the question of being launched then and being launched now, I actually think that speaks very much to it, because what we had created back then was truly social media, right? Like, we thought that what people wanted to do was to come on to Friendspire and then just see, oh, Mary rated this, Adam rated this, John rated this, and then just like get that thrown in their face and have that social experience of just like knowing all of the content that people have rated, and all of the content that people have enjoyed, and what they think about it, and then save it, and so on. So we created like a true social media platform. And then we launched, and we were like, people are going to love this. And they didn't, not to the degree at least that we really needed. And that was the product that was pushed out there back then. On top of that, it wasn't very well designed, and we were learning, right? But because we weren't getting the retention that we really needed, we were like, something needs to change, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we went back to those users that truly loved the product, and then we went through like almost a pivot in talking with them and figuring out what it was that they really loved about it. And that's then when we felt we moved away from being social media to being what we call social tool, right? So it's still driven by the community, and you can still be part of that community, but the most important part of what Friendspire does is help you solve that Sunday night problem of not being able to find a great movie, or the Monday morning problem of needing, a great podcast to listen to. So that's then what we launched in that second round, which was just much more, compelling for both us, and I think for the community to see.
How long of a time has it been since you launched that first one and someone hunted you and to where you are today?
Yeah, so I think that was in April of 2020. So it's been, like 7 months or so. So it's been a good amount of time.
Yeah.
Which was
And
also then, if someone found us back then without, us really doing a lot and without us having a product that a lot of people uh, were joining, then now I was super scared every day that suddenly like we would go to try to launch and then it's like, oh no, you launched yesterday, right? And and without one really even knowing, but luckily that didn't happen.
yeah, it's kind of interesting how Product Hunt does allow people to hunt you without you even knowing. But I
Yeah.
think most product hunters kind of respect and like, at least for me, and the code that of the community that I've subscribed to is talk to the founder first
Yeah,
and kind of
exactly.
plan out the hunt with them.
Exactly.
Um, what did you do to prepare your product hunt launch?
Yeah. So as you kind of alluded to a little bit, I do like to prepare somewhat, and I also just found the whole product hunt experience to be really really interesting. Like I've always been, or I have been for a while, kind of a taker on product hunt, but entering that other side of it is just so different, right? And I feel like it's this funny balance where I remember one of the first things I read was you sent me this great like Twitter thread that explained a bunch on how you could prepare on Product Hunt, and I read that, and then I started reading a bunch of other guides about how you can really do it, and began making kind of my own Slack guide for myself. So just posting it in Slack, kind of some steps to myself on what I thought relative to our product, our launch, the story we wanted to tell, would make sense, right? So really making a very very clear plan. And then I started, building a community around it, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
we have quite a lot of users on Friendspire, but I mean, not a whole bunch of them are on Product Hunt or even knows what that is, right? So you need to kind of do two things, right? You need to get your own community excited about Product Hunt potentially so much that they want to join and support you when you go live, but then also get the Product Hunt community excited about Friendspire so that you can get them to support you as well. And I think that was like
Yeah.
one of the biggest learnings, and it was, it's in most of the guides, but you need to kind of build those real relationships beforehand, and getting one vote one-on-one, DMing people, WhatsApping people to try to make sure that they'll support your launch is worth it, right? Because yes, you can then also go on the day in a subreddit called like we support Product Hunt and be like, hey, I launched, this is my story, and the group has 150,000 people or whatever, but no one's gonna do it, right? So focusing on those like real interactions one on one, I think is just so much more valuable to actually get you any type of traction.
Exactly. I agree with you. And I think that that's been a learning for me as I've hunted is just you really, as a founder, as a maker on Product Hunt, engage with the community before you launch, months before. Start now. Get in there, create your product. If you are creating anything, if you ever think you might launch on Product Hunt, get into the community now, today. Go get into the maker space. They have activated work groups that you can chat with different people and about what you're building. You set your goals. You can comment and chat together, and then you kind of get to know these people online virtually, so that when you go live, they're like they've been with you from the beginning on your journey and are more likely to support you. So that's a huge, great tip
Exactly.
to
Yeah,
to
and it's
share
it's an
with us.
interesting balance, because Product Hunt and a lot of the guides, they're really saying, hey, the algorithm in Product Hunt only wants organic upvotes, and they only want it to be community driven, and that's very true. That's really how the algorithm works, right? But everyone is still, let's just be honest, like trying to game it somewhat, right? Like everyone's like, oh, it's the organic part, but then they try to game the fact to make it organic, which from Product Hunt's side is just genius, because they're actually making every single person that launches go out and try to get people interested in using Product Hunt, right? So just like the flywheel of getting new users they have there, like I've tried to get all the 40, 50,000 people we have on Friendspire, I've shot them an email and said like, hey, join Product Hunt so you could upvote us. Like, what other product would I ever tell my entire user base to try and join, right? So they just have like a genius model in acquiring more users, because everyone is like an advocate for them. So it is definitely like organic, but there are then things you can do to make it organic, right? And we leveraged like our networks and everyone on the Friendspire team's networks to really say, hey, go check out Product Hunt, see if it's a site you like. If it's a site you like, then join today. If you even start like upvoting a few things, well, then when it gets to be Friendspire's turn, Product Hunt algorithm is going to like you a lot more, right? So like, I mean, that is organic, and that's true, because these are people that actually join and like Product Hunt and use it, but you're still really trying to be an advocate for people that would then support you.
100%. Yeah. And Product Hunt can be very addicting. Like, I'll go onto the homepage and I'm like, open tab, open tab, open tab, open tab. Like, all of these products look really cool. And then I'm creating collections and bookmarks, and you go down this hole of the internet and you're just like, okay, like I have like 20 new products I need to try. It's pretty crazy. So there's just not enough time in the day for all the different cool things that people are building and creating these days.
That's so true. That's so true.
Another one of the things that you did that we talked a little bit about was you were able to get in touch with some of the larger name hunters. And although I'm grateful you ended up going with me, a little local hunter to hunt you.
Yeah, of course.
So I want to talk to you a little bit about that process. Like, how did you go about reaching out to them? What platforms did you use? What did you say? Because you ended up getting some responses from them too.
Yeah. So that was actually really cool. And I think that's also been part of the process of preparing for Product Hunt, where there's been some indirect benefits other than just getting the launch on Product Hunt itself. So I was able to, jump on, I think through SuperPeer. Chris Messina has, the ability to jump on a 30-minute call with him, which he also has, you can book him for a hunt, but that's super expensive. Talking with him for 30 minutes just to kind of pick his brain on how one should actually launch and just, his claim to fame is kind of being the number one product hunter, and also inventing the hashtag. So he's pretty big in Product Hunt, and talking with him was really, really cool. And that was obviously a discussion about Product Hunt, but also just about kind of the Friendspire business. And I think the tip that he said, which kind of resonated the most, because I had, distanced myself a little bit from the story I was telling. And instead, it was very, this is what Friendspire can do, and this is why you should join, because it's awesome and it'll solve your Sunday night problem. And like those communication one-liners that we're kind of so used to throwing everywhere when we have to represent our company. And then I also told him a little bit of the story I was telling you before about how, we weren't getting the retention we wanted. So we really spoke with our users, and we then saw, a 3.5 times increase in our retention. And, we've had more than 10,000 users come on just in this week alone, just from doing that pivot from social media to social tool. And he was like, but that's the story you need to tell, right? Like, that's what Product Hunt is about, that real story and that real experience that you had. And when you said that, I was like, I mean, of course, right? But sometimes you're just so in that like communication mode that hadn't even clicked for me. So that was super cool. One of the other advantages of that was he really liked Friendspire, and he thought, this really could be big because it's solving a need today that isn't being solved, right? It's sitting in between the content providers and the user and helping simplify that, only getting more useful every day as a new streaming platform seems to launch every day. So he also wanted to put us in contact with a few people he knew, and did that. So I had a bunch of calls and had a call with a VC after he did that. as well. So that was really helpful as well. And one of the people that he then put me in contact with was also Ryan Hoover, who started Product Hunt. So I spoke with both of them, obviously, and they said they also wanted to support the launch. Now they both upvoted, but I'm hoping that supporting the launch, potentially they decide that could mean more and choose to join the conversation or such. But it's still early on the West Coast, so we'll see.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see tomorrow too if you're featured in the newsletter, which is like really a big deal when you get featured. I'm just kind of scrolling through the page here, beautifully designed.
Yeah.
I love how you prepared all of your photos for me. You had them in a nice specified order, exactly what you wanted to put here. And then you had a video link, which was great, as well as usage of, emojis, which, okay, some of those, you're right, they didn't copy over. Like, I have to go in there and fix that. But really great. I love it, and I'm excited to see what happens next for Friendspire and the team here. What is on the agenda?
Yeah, so what we're really hyper focused on right now is really our retention. Like, that has moved in the right direction. As I said, it's more than tripled recently, and that's what we need, right? Like, that is everything for an app, and especially a social app, because you need to get enough density so that it's actually interesting. So what we're really doing is we're continuing the pivot I was talking about before, about really creating this strong social tool, which means that the app is really fun for anyone, even when they have no friends, right? So this strong single player mode. And doing that is helping us get a lot of users, because people are finding the app, especially YouTube tech bloggers have picked it up, and we've had more than 15 large tech bloggers post about Friendspire, which has gotten us a lot of downloads. So as we see that stronger and stronger user growth, and as we see that stronger and stronger user retention, we're more and more ready to take in some VC funding or some angel funding, which is what we're working towards right now. And then, of course, we want to accelerate that even more, and just create this community about finding great stuff.
Well, you're in a great place to be. Miami, all the VCs are headed here. So
Exactly.
that's very exciting. I'm actually going to hop on Clubhouse after this for a few minutes to do the weekly 305 check-in. I don't know if you're on Clubhouse yet.
I am, yeah.
Okay, great. Well, if anyone else is tuning in, definitely head over to Clubhouse. Head over to the next app. Just keep on moving from one platform to the next. And thank you, Markus, for coming in and sharing with us today. Everyone should go check out Friendspire and definitely leave them some feedback after you check out their app on Product Hunt. Drop them a note about what you think. Support a local Miami founder, and we'll grow our Product Hunt community by supporting each other. Any last words, Markus?
I mean, again, thank you so much for hunting us. I really appreciate it. And as you said, we love feedback from anyone. So check out Friendspire and let us know what you think.
For sure. And I do also want to shout out to Adam, because he had to drop, but we didn't get to drop his information. He's at Emote.Design, Adam French, if you guys are looking any social impact. Startup founders are looking to kind of put together a comprehensive plan on how to build your brand. Check him out at Emote.Design. And we will be back on Livestream soon. I'm sure there's lots of products out there being built. Make sure you drop a comment if you're working on something and you want Product Hunt South Florida to support you. Have a great day.